So we've already talked about how to use a regular rollover and how to create the remote rollover. And the remote rollover is one method you can use for creating an image gallery. But one of the disadvantages to remote rollover is that all of the images that go into your original, so my larger version of cucumber, my larger version of chocolate, have to be the same size and direction or orientation as my original. If not, they're going to get distorted. And that can definitely be a disadvantage. So one of the advantages to working with the jQuery plugin Lightbox is that it allows us to keep the images at their different sizes. We're still going to save screen real estate because all we see initially on the page are the thumbnails. And I'll just open this up in the browser. But then it's going to go through the gallery and it's going to resize this window that pops up, resize it so each one of my originals can stay their own unique size, or they could be different orientation as well. One could be vertical and one could be horizontal. So this is a plugin that I've already saved for you, and you can get it from Blackboard or you can get it from the G drive. And when this plugin was downloaded, it was a zip file, and I unzipped it. And let's just briefly go over what was in the original zip file. A CSS file, and that is what's controlling the look of the overlay and also the look of their div here. So that file is going to be needed. The gallery too is something I included to have our own images. The images folder, those are the little images that you see when the lightbox pops up that says previous or next or close, and so those are needed. The JS is a very important folder, and that actually is what has all of the JavaScript attached to it. That's going to make the little bit of jQuery that we're going to put on our page work. And the photos are just the photos that came with their sample page along with the index, which is their sample page. So you don't actually need the photos and you don't actually need the index page, but you're going to want the index page to use as kind of like a guideline as a starter, and you're going to copy and paste the code. But when you're all done, if you want, you can delete this page. So if we look over here in the code view of that index page that they gave us, which I'll make it all code view, what we see up here is the top. It says script type. We have two script types, and that's telling the browser, look in a folder, the JS folder, and look for these JS files, because those are the files that will tell the browser how to interpret all of the scripts that we have down here. So this little bit of text is going to be needed. After that, we also see where there's a link to a CSS style sheet, and that's also telling the browser, look in the CSS folder and look for this style sheet, which is .css, and that's also going to tell the browser how to control the look of the page. After that, we have an opening and closing script tag. In this page, I had actually already set up to set up some other divs, so I'll just delete that. And so now this is how it would look on yours. So we have an opening and closing script tag, and basically what's in this script is the $sign is an abbreviation for jQuery, and it's saying, hey browser, I'm using jQuery, and I want you to run this function that's called Lightbox. And so how does the browser understand Lightbox? It's going to look in these JS files. And I want you to apply this thing called Lightbox to anything that has the ID of gallery. And as you can see how they structure their page, those images are in a div with an ID of gallery. So understanding that, really all we need to know is that we're going to replace this word gallery for whatever we call our div. And then if you want to, when you get to the point where you want to take this script and copy and paste it onto your own page, the lines that you're going to need to copy are the 2 lines of script, the 1 line that says the style sheet, and then the full open to closing actual jQuery script here. And I'll do that in a separate video. So for this first video, what I'm going to do is we're going to insert our own div onto this page and take the images that I gave you, and we're going to go and create another gallery right here on this page. So I can insert my div by using the main menu. I want to go to Insert, After Tag, Gallery, and so I want it to be after theirs, and I'm going to give it the ID of Gallery 2. And I can just give it some styles. I'll give it a certain amount of width by the box category. I don't really know what my numbers should be, but that's okay. And I'll give it a little bit of padding. Let's say 10 pixels on each side. And I'll give it a background color. I'll give it the same color, take my eyedropper of theirs, and let's hit OK and hit OK. All right, so theirs is a little bit larger, but that's all right. So what I want to do is go over to my Photos folder here, and, oh, sorry, not Photos, Gallery 2. Photos was theirs. Gallery 2, that's the one that I've given you. And I'm going to put in, I have two versions of each one of these images, so I'll put in the one that says small into my own div, and now I can get rid of that little bit of, oops, little bit of text. Okay, and just I'll continue on, I'll do a couple more. I'm not going to worry about styling it for the sake of time in this video, so you guys should already be familiar with how to write the compound selector and how to write rules for the images inside Gallery 2 and add some padding. So if you wanted them to look like here, you would add some margin, probably about 2 pixels in between, add some padding, looks like about 2 pixels on either side, but then maybe about 10 pixels of padding, and then give it a darker background color. And that's how you'd get the images to look like this. It's kind of that Polaroid look. So it's a combination of margins and padding and a background color. All right, so now that I've put those thumbnails down, I'm going to click on my first thumbnail, and I'm going to make a note that this is called brown small, and I'm going to link it to the version of brown large. And I'll click going through. So this is Freer small. I'll click on Freer large, and let's continue here. This is monument small, monument large. So I'm taking the thumbnail and I'm linking it to the larger version of that image. And it doesn't matter if they're all different sizes. Okay, so now back over in the code view, all I need to do is I need to copy this script. I really only need to copy what's inside the script, but if it's easier for you to copy from open script tag to closing, that's also fine. But I'm going to just copy what's inside the script, and I'm going to paste it right below. But where it says gallery, I'm going to now put in Gallery 2. And let's save it and preview in the browser. Now I have my second one, and when I click on them, I get my little next button, and it cycles through, and as you can see, so I can have a vertical right next to a horizontal. And I have my little previous and next buttons. Okay, so doing this on the page, on the starter page, is very simple. This is your good first practice. Is just simply add a second div, add some thumbnails, link the thumbnails to the larger version, then go into the code and copy what's inside the script tags, or you can copy from script to script and just paste it again. That's okay. And just change this to say Gallery 2 if that's what you called your second div. The next step that we'd want to do is we want that title tag to come up. So if I jump back over to the browser here, you'll notice in their example, they have some like weird kind of text that shows up here. And we would like that actually to be descriptive text. In our example, it just simply says image 1 of 5, image 2 of 5. So let's go over the title tag. If we look at theirs, and I'll make it all code view. Oh, I guess it is just a little small on my window. I'm going to close my behaviors out there. So if we look at theirs, you're going to see that the title tag happens within the ahref tags. So for example, I have my ahref, and here's my first image, and then right after that it says title, and then they have in some weird kind of filler text, and then we have the closing tag. So if I look down here in my div with a gallery of 2, I have my open a tag, and here's my closing of the a tag, and so that's right where I want to put it, right after the quotes of my JPEG and before it closes there. And I'll start typing in title, and this is my first image. We'll put in just as a filler and save it and preview. Make sure that's working. And here it now says this is my first image. Oop, and I misspelled that, but that's fine. All right, so if I want to go on to the next one, I'm going to look for my open ahref. So open ahref right here, right after where it says the JPEG, my closing quotes. I put my cursor in space and I start typing in title, and then whatever is here, whatever's here is what will be seen. Let's just double check that, save it and preview it. So here's my first one. This is my first image. So you can really use this as a little bit of space to be able to describe what is in the image. It's very strange when we're cycling through and we're just looking at images, but no one tells us what these images are. So use those title tags to describe what we're looking at in the image. Okay, and so in the next video, I'm going to go about how do you add this whole thing to one of your pages outside of the jQuery folder box.